What's up everybody, it's Connor from Unscripted, back again with another video. In today's video we are ranking every single SMG player in the CDL, in my opinion, and as always, we are doing things off the script. So, before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like down below if you enjoy the video, leave a comment as well with your thoughts on how you think these players should be ranked, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the content. So just to get this out there before we start, you are seeing this on a Saturday, this is being recorded on Wednesday night. You were seeing this on Saturday because, as you know, I've said a couple of times, my monthly goal for May is to upload every single day, and I will actually be at my college graduation on Saturday all day long, so I will not be able to upload that day, or at least I won't be able to make a video. So I'm making it now, uploading it then, and I say that because anything that happens, in the matches tomorrow, Friday, so basically the 2 days before you see this, the first 2 days of the Dallas home series, that will not affect these rankings because I have not seen them yet, even though they have happened by the time you're seeing this. So all that said, let's hop right into the video. Kicking things off, we have Apathy. I think there is no debate about Apathy. Where he goes, he belongs comfortably in the S tier. Also, I will try to rank these guys in order to the best of my ability, but some of them are just going to be pretty tough. Apathy, I comfortably put him in the bottom tier. Everybody loves Apathy. He is a legend of the scene for sure, no doubt about that, but he is not the player he once was. He is towards the bottom of the league in SMGs. Asem, I will put in A. I think he's towards the top of the A tier. There's only going to be a couple guys up in S, so I mean, there's only a couple guys in the league better than Asem right now, and this is, so I'm considering the whole season, but mostly I'm putting much more weight on what's happening recently. Someone being really good in stage 1, it matters, but it's not that relevant to right now. So basically, it's going to mostly weight what we've seen, stage 3 about, recently. Attach, I will throw in the A tier as well. I think he has been very solid for a Minnesota team who started the year underperforming, and now they are comfortably performing a lot better. They still, I think, aren't quite a top tier team like they looked like when they first made their roster move, but they still have been really solid, really good at search, getting a little bit better at hard points. Good to see them. I'm happy for those guys playing well, and I really love Attach. He is one of my favorite players, and I do think he belongs in the A tier of SMGs. Bance, I think he belongs in the A tier as well, and it's funny because when I made a video way back in the beginning of the year, just ranking every player in the CDL, not positions or anything, just all 48. And Bance was one of the 6 guys in the bottom tier. So it's crazy how far he has come. He is playing phenomenal lately. And, like I said, this is mostly based on stage 3. He ended stage 2 really strong with the tournament MVP at the major. And he's playing just as well in the stage 2 or the stage 3. So I have him in the A tier. Classic, I will throw in the C tier. I think the intangibles and not the potential, I mean, he's a veteran, we know what he has, but the intangibles, the pressure he puts on the map, they are all good. He was, I think, a B, maybe even an A tier sub earlier in the year, but I just think he has slowed down quite a bit. He's still putting the pressure on the map for sure, and he's still getting his engagements and doing his job to be a fast-paced sub, but he's just not producing the way he was earlier in the year, so I do have him towards the top, I'd say, of the C tier for now. Kleenex as well. I think I'll have him in the A. I think he's going to be a little bit behind Bance just because of I think Bance is a little more consistent, whereas Kleenex, when he is, playing at his best, he is most definitely in the A tier and towards the top of it. But he does have some inconsistent series. The whole Toronto team has become more consistent since they made their roster change, but Kleenex still does have his down series. I mean, he's obviously a very good player. I will throw him in the A tier, but I'll have him towards the bottom of it for now. Decimate will be thrown into the too soon category. Obviously, we have not seen him play at all yet, so I can't really grade him. Envoy, I'll throw in A. Oh, man, I'm not sure. I'll split the Toronto boys with him. He has not quite lived up to his expectations this year. He has been fine. He's been actually really good at hard points, but he's surprisingly struggled in search. He's probably been Optic's worst search player over the course of the season. Some players, I think, starting to adjust for the way he plays, him taking his flanks, running his routes, they're picking up on it. His numbers are not there at all. His production's not. His effect on the map still is, but it's not like it once was, where even if he was putting up a 1.0, he was having a really big effect on the map. Now it's like he's putting up like 0.9s a lot without that same route running and, pressure, playmaking effects. So I still have him in A because, he's Envoy and he's playing really well in hard points, but definitely not how he has been. Havoc, I will throw in D, and I'll even throw him behind Apathy. I'm not high on Havoc at all. I don't know why they made that move. I think it was just a lateral move from Slack. I think they could have found much better options, but they went with Havoc and didn't pay off. I don't think it's going to. Hook, I will throw in B. I mean, obviously this was based on stage 1, he'd be S, but then he was definitely down. He was probably like a C tier player, or C or B in stage 2. Obviously we have not seen him in stage 3 yet, so I can't really say for sure. I'll throw him in the B. I think if he performs the way is expected of him, and he gets going and sort of fits right in with the momentum LAT has going right now, he'll probably find his way into the A tier and maybe even back into the S tier. But for right now, I'll put him in the B tier, and that's going to be one we're going to have to monitor because he hasn't played in a little while. Hydra, I'll say too soon for him as well. If I was grading him so far, I mean, he's been pushing the S tier, but he'd definitely be towards the top of the A tier if I was rating him, but I'm not going to because we've only seen a couple series from him. He has struggled in search, but he has been phenomenal in the respawn, so that's where Hydra stands right now. Illy, I'm going to throw in C. I just don't see what it is with Illy. I don't know why they are so adamant on keeping him on the roster. I think they would have been better off if they wanted to replace somebody when they replaced Hook. I think you could argue it could have been Illy. He wasn't good with an AR this year. He has not been good with an SMG yet this year. I just don't think he's performing the way he needs to be performing for them to be a top tier team. I think their team is going to fall off towards the end of this, like as the season keeps progressing. And I think unless he gets going, they're going to be in some trouble. But I'll have him in C for now, and we'll see how he goes from there. Looney, even though he is now benched, I wanted to include him because he has played in every match that they've played this year, and he'd be in the D tier. He'd be at the bottom. Rough year for Looney. I love the guy. I think everybody likes Looney, but not his year, not his game. So he's in the D tier. Neptune, this is a tough one. I'm thinking. I'll say the front of the C tier, but maybe I'll move him to the back of the B tier. I think with Neptune, it's just I see his skill and I see his potential and what he has, and that's why I want to put him higher. His production though really hasn't been quite of a B tier player or B tier SMG in my opinion. He's really talented though. There's no doubt about that, and I'm really excited to watch him keep growing, learning how to play the game, learning spawns and all that. But his movement, his shot, his search and destroy play has been good. His pressure he puts on the map really good. So definitely high potential for Neptune, and I think no doubt in my mind throughout this year and then into the coming years he will surely find his way up this list. But for right now, I have him in that C tier. Prestini, another one who at the start of the year he might have been in the D towards the bottom of it. But right now, I think I'll have to throw him towards the back of the A tier, honestly. He's been playing really well. Putting a lot of pressure on the map, getting a lot of kills, lots of engagements. Him and Decimate should be a really nice pairing for that Seattle Surge team if he keeps playing well. Assuming Decimate, I almost guarantee he'll be an upgrade over Looney, but assuming he plays the way he's expected to, I think they'll be a middle tier team rather than a bottom tier team for sure, and they might even be able to upset some of these top teams because a good SMG duo makes a huge difference, especially on a team like that who already has a pretty solid AR duo. Skump, I'll throw in the B tier. Skump has actually been elite at search and destroy, but in the respawns he has not been playing the best this year. I mean, not that he's been bad, he's just hovering right around a 1.0 KD, I believe. He has been really good in search, but I mean, I think it's unfair to Skump to try to compare him to what he once was. If you're comparing Cold War Skump to Advanced Warfare Skump, you might have him down in C or D, but if you just solely look at his competition this year among the SMGs and his performance, I think it's fine to have him in the B tier, mostly because of his strong performance in search and destroy. Shotzi I will throw in the B tier as well. Earlier in the year, he was struggling a little bit, but he has been picking it up some. He is probably Dallas's best player right now, maybe Crim 6, but he's definitely picking it up, getting back into that form he had last year. He's not a top 5 player like he was last year, but he's getting there after a rough start to the year, so I'll throw him in B. Silly, I should really throw in too soon because he has only played a couple of series, maybe 3 series on the SMG, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I know what we're going to get with Silly, so I'm comfortable putting him here. I think as an AR player this year, he might have been in the B tier. He was solid. He wasn't anything spectacular. He was their best player after Vivid was benched, but as a sub, I don't think it's going to be the role for him. I mean, he really struggled his first 2 series with a sub. He actually performed the best on their team in terms of KD, I believe, in their most recent series, so he's getting there, but I just feel like his ceiling's not that high as a sub. I really don't think it is, mostly because of pacing, and that team likes to play slow. He's not going to put up the numbers, and I just don't think he has a huge effect on the map as a sub the way he did with the Flex AR. So I'll put him in C. Simp, of course, we know where he's going to go, right up into the S tier. No discussion needed for him either. The question becomes who's first, him or Abizi. I bounce back and forth, I think, every series on this one, but for right now, I'm going to have Simp in the front. That could literally change when they play their next series. Those two are just in a tier of their own. I can tell you there will be nobody else in the S tier. Simp, really good. Abizi, really good. 2 best players in the game at any position, I think. Scraps, I'll put him in B because I really like Scraps. I think as a player this year, he is for sure a B tier player. He's been solid. He's been their most consistent and best player on the Paris Legion, which is, is not saying a ton this year. I don't like the move of him being a sub, though. I think he'd be better suited as an AR player. I think he was doing well with the AR. I think if they wanted to get him, they shouldn't have gone into a sub. I think if they wanted to bring in, they shouldn't have brought in Temp, basically is what I'm getting at. They should have left Scraps on the AR and just picked up somebody else to run a sub rather than bringing in Temp and then switching positions. I didn't like that move from the beginning. Still don't like it, even though they did get a big win over Florida, maybe? I think Florida. So they got a win, but I just don't like the move. I think Scraps should be with an AR. But as an SMG player, he's still fine. He's a really smart player. He's versatile. He can do it all. He's been performing fine with that SMG. Standy, I know a lot would probably have him A. I'm going to throw him at the very front of the B tier. He has just made it so much of a difference since Minnesota picked him up. You can clearly see the team is much better and much more consistent since they've had him. I do think he's slowed down a little bit. He was like lighting the league on fire in his first couple series. He's slowed down a bit, but still a very, very good player and has been a big difference maker for that team. TJ Halley, he is now benched, but even when he was playing, I think he was C tier. He was not very good this year. I think he had his moments. He was decent at times. He had some good search moments, whatever else, but overall not his year so far. Everybody was super surprised that he was benched. I was not. And I figured it was for Havoc, but even if it wasn't, I wasn't totally fine with them making a roster change. They clearly were lacking the SMG firepower to pair up with their really good AR duo of Kenny and Draza. So I like the move, and I think it was the right move picking TJ to bench instead of Venom, who I'm also going to throw in the C tier, but I will have him ahead of a couple of these guys. Venom's okay. I mean, there's not much to say about him. He struggled a little bit when he first came in to the LA Thieves, but their whole team was just a dumpster fire back then. They've gotten going. He's picked it up. He's been playing better, so it's a better situation for him right now, and that's good to see. Zaptius, I will throw in the too soon category. I think that he struggled a little bit in his first couple series, but then he has been playing better as the team has been playing better, so that's good to see. I do think when he has some more matches, he would probably get up into that C, maybe even B tier. He's a good search player, but it's kind of that thing where we've only seen a few series, and like some of them are really bad, and then one was good, so it's kind of hard to sort of grade him on that very small sample size, whereas a guy like Silly, where he only had a couple series on the SMG, but he's had how many years of playing Call of Duty in general. We haven't seen that much of Zaptius, so I'll keep him down there for now and see where he ends up. And finally, Zed. I'll put him at the bottom of the C tier. I do think he's a little bit above these guys I have in the D tier, but he is towards the bottom of the league. He's been fine, though. He has also been a reason for London's success they've been having. They're getting going a little bit. They lost to FaZe 3-2 and beat New York 3-2, so they've been having more team success. Zed has been fine. He's not been like anything crazy, but he's a decent. You know what you're gonna get with him, consistent. His floor, his ceiling's not that high, but his floor is not that low either. So he's just sort of there, and I'll put him in the C tier. So that's gonna wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like down below and a comment as well with your thoughts on these rankings. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are enjoying the content and looking for more of it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoy the Call of Duty matches tonight, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.